Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Calvin Anderson, for the Check In With podcast. Today's guest, I mean, yeah, there isn't really much words to describe this person, so I'm going to just let their introduction speak for itself. Sydnee Falkner is a force to be reckoned with in health, wellness, and female empowerment. A small town girl from rural Alaska, she grew up in the heart of the wilderness, hunting, filleting salmon, and in her backyard and embracing the raw power of nature. While her striking presence might not immediately give away her rugged roots, they are the foundation of her resilience, relentless drive, and unapologetic confidence. She was on track to become a mechanical engineer, but her passion for human movement led her to pivot into kinesiology and biomechanics, where she graduated summa cum laude. Physical therapy was the next logical step until she found herself dominating the world of medical sales, shattering quotas and thriving at industry powerhouses like Stryker and H.B. Fuller. Her success wasn't handed to her. Sydnee grew up as an introverted child, faced bullying, and spent years making herself smaller to fit in. But now, she refuses to shrink. She's taken up space, embraced her strength, and built a platform where she coaches women to do the same because femininity and fierceness are not mutually exclusive. Sydnee Falkner is not just making waves, she's leading a movement that proves a woman can be strong and soft, fierce and kind, brilliant and breathtaking. She's breaking the mold, rewriting the rules, and inspiring women to step into their power without any type of apology. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's just give a standing ovation for this guest, for Sydnee Falkner. Sydnee, how are you doing?
Calvin, I think that's the best introduction I've ever had. So thank you
Oh,
for that. I'm so excited to be here and to chat with you and get to know each other
yeah,
and hit real topics of the world.
100%. I just want to firstly say thank you so much for even responding. You send these emails or messages to high profile people and you don't really get a response. So I am so honored to host you this evening, honestly.
I try to go through every message that I can. It can get a little bit much, but especially when I see podcasts such as yours that speak to things like mental health and connection and community, that hits me so deeply because it's so important and vital, especially in today's society. So I am so excited to be here.
Oh, thank you so much, honestly. And thank you to your PR team as well, who've been so gracious to me and been so responsive and been like, Calvin, what you need? If you need anything, let me know. And I've been like, is this real or am I being pranked? So
I've got the best team, honestly. They are fantastic people.
you do. I guess we should start from the beginning. Business and strategy first, if that's okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So what was the turning point in your journey that took you from struggle to success?
So, and I'm going to clarify with me personally or kind of with the show.
Let's start with you first.
Perfect. Okay. So I did grow up very introverted, very kind of alone, very bookworm. I loved my books. I still played sports. I was basketball, volleyball, top of my class. And moving out to Arizona, I thought everything would change and that I would find some kind of acceptance. I was going to go to ASU and I was going to join a sorority, and I didn't join the sorority and I didn't live in the dorms, and I would make semester friends. And it's difficult. And I think the big turning point for me was when I started to find a lot of self love and realize the only thing holding me back in anything that I did, whether it was fitness or business or relationships, whether it's platonic or romantic, is myself. And so I took time deep diving. I read books like Joe Dispenza's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, The Four Agreements, great book, How to Influence and Influence People, Taking The Alchemist, one of my favorites, in all honesty, phenomenal.
Phenomenal book.
Taking time to read these books and discovering a lot about myself was when I realized there is absolutely no reason why I cannot be successful in everything that I want to do. And that means other people can too, without it being a threat. It's not either or. There's room for everybody at the table, and that's what we need as a society.
I love that. Especially the last part where you said there's room at the table for all of us to be at. I think that's so
I
inspirational.
want all my people to eat. I'm not in competition with the girl on the treadmill next to me. I used to be like, how long have you been running for? Okay, I can do that too. Now I'm like, you know what? You go, girl. Do that. I'm not doing that. I'm doing my time and this is my individual race. But I can cheer you on while you're doing yours.
Sydney, how do you decide which ideas are worth pursuing and which ones to drop?
I really struggled with that for a long time because I would fixate or get in my head that, okay, I have to do this thing. Like it was, I started something and I had to finish it. Even when I started to know this wasn't going to be me or it wasn't going to be fruitful. And so discernment is my biggest thing. Listening to your gut and having discernment for what is truly going to let you stay true to yourself. Because I would find myself in these positions where this isn't me and it doesn't feel right and it doesn't feel authentic, but I've started this journey, so I feel like I have to continue it. For anybody listening, you don't. You have the right at any time to say, this isn't who I am. I'm going to pivot. You have that power, and it can be hard and it can be scary. I remember even leaving my first job, like my first big girl job, right? I was terrified to leave, but I knew I wasn't getting the type of, I worked so hard and it wasn't being recognized with that. And so I had to cut the cord. And that was when I'm loyal to a fault. And that was when I realized it's okay to put yourself first. If something feels inauthentic, even if it starts out feeling authentic and then it just doesn't feel right anymore or it doesn't align with who you're trying to become, let it go. Something else is going to come in and fill that in a way that allows you to let other people express themselves. Long-winded answer, but
And just even to stay on that question, just briefly, for someone who may be at that stage, that turning point like you, and they want to cut the cord, what would you advise them to do in terms of making that step?
no, that's a great question. First of all, know that it's okay that it's not easy. It's okay to go back and forth and kind of struggle with it. I recently left another job and I went back and forth and I don't want people to be mad at me. As soon as I sent that email, it was like a weight lifted. So take a breath, recenter yourself, check in with yourself that this is, if it's best for you, you can't do it wrong. There's no wrong answer if it's what's right for you. I promise, as scary as it is, it'll all work out. Worst case scenario, I always think worst case scenario. Okay, I quit this job, I lose my house, something doesn't happen. The absolute worst thing that happens is I go back home to live with my parents in Alaska for 3 months because my dad has a 3-month time limit. And I restart. I have family support. I get to develop a new plan. That's a worst case scenario for me. So what's the worst case scenario for you? And I promise you that you can handle it.
That's so powerful, Sydney. Thank you so much.
I love these questions. I love getting into the meat of things like this.
No, it's good. It's good to hear from you, especially with all the success you have had and all the success you will be having. It's so good to hear this from you. Taking it a step further, though, because we spoke about people, I guess, wanting to cut the cord. What advice, Sydney, would you give to someone starting from the beginning? What advice would you give to them?
If you're starting from the very beginning, understand that probably don't get decision paralysis. That's one thing I used to have is I have to do this and this and this and this and this. And you're looking at all of these things. Start with your why. There's the golden circle, right? People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So make sure you have your why lined up and it's authentic to yourself. And then it's baby steps. You don't try, it's not Thanksgiving and you're trying to shovel the whole turkey into your mouth. You're taking baby bites, baby steps. So break it down and understand things may not go exactly to plan all the time. Sometimes they do for some people, and that's fantastic. Not always for me. I've had to adjust a lot of times. And you can't let those get you down, because if you are dead set on something and it doesn't work out, one no is closer to a yes. It's not rejection, it's a redirection. And sometimes you just have to take that very first step instead of constantly waiting. Why not you? That's my new mantra. That's how I'm finding success. Other people are doing these things that I want to do. Instead of laminating and being jealous and, oh, I can't believe they're doing this. Why not me? The only person in my way is me. And sometimes we have to step out of our own way and just, why not? Try it.
Why not try it? You heard it here first, listeners, that rejection is not the end, it's just the beginning of redirection. You heard it from Sydnee herself. Sydnee, I want to move on to mindset and motivation. How do you stay focused and motivated when things get tough?
So, Calvin, I'm probably still am sometimes. I used to be so hard on myself, and I took every little pitfall so personally. And now I have such an immense amount of gratitude and joy in my life, where even with work, that hospital deal didn't close the way I wanted it to, but I made progress. I made contact. I woke up this morning and it's raining outside, but I had the most beautiful cup of tea that my mom had gotten me because she knew it was my favorite. You can find joy and gratitude. It's not always easy. I'm not going to pretend it is. Some days you stub your toe, your tire's flat, there's an accident on the freeway, so you're late. Play your favorite song, sing along in the car. There's always something in some way to find gratitude about. And that's how I had to reframe my mind. And that's what I live by now. I will send a 15-minute conversation ranting to my best friend on a voice memo, getting everything out, and then being like, I'm so grateful that I have you to listen to me and to support me.
Yeah.
I will also say rage screaming in your car if you're having a bad day, absolutely top notch. Turn that music up, scream in your car. You'll feel so much better.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Have your vices, as Sydnee's mentioned. Have your rage moments. You're screaming in the car, and sing along to the song, and have a great support system around you as well.
I think so many people now are getting caught up in, I have to be positive all the time. You should feel your emotions. It's okay to feel the anger and the sadness and the grief if you don't get stuck in it. You don't have to, that doesn't have to become your identity. That can be fluid, but suppressing everything is where we get into a lot of trouble as well, I think. Because at some point it's going to build up and it explodes.
Just to even touch upon that, Sydnee, if you don't mind, why is there the need to always stay positive?
Social media. I'm going to say right now, I think social media has such potential for connection, but we do judge ourselves and others by it. It's like keeping up with the Joneses, right? We see highlight reels, the edited photos, the perfect trips. They're going out here and they're in Bali and they're in Africa and they're in Europe and in Italy, and I'm stuck here in my 9 to 5. What am I doing with my life? And comparison is the thief of joy. I grew up, my dad has taught me a couple things. If you're happy, work. If you're sad, work. If you're hungry, work. And he also said, be happy, helpful, hopeful, and humble. And those 4 pillars is how I grew up. And so in today's society, we compare everything and everything is at our fingertips. My screen time on my phone is probably 10 hours a day because I have to do it for work. And then you're on social media and you're comparing. Go outside, take a walk, get some sunshine, go to the gym, get some movement in, connect with real people in real time. And I think that helps shift from the toxic positivity of my life is perfect, everything is great, because it's not. Life is messy, and that's okay.
Shout out to Dad, by the way, because he instilled some very strong principles in you, and that's a credit to him. And yeah, that's amazing.
I could not have better parents. Mom and dad are, I love them. I tell them they're crazy all the time, and I would never trade them for anything in the world. So
Yeah.
they've supported me in every single thing I've done.
Sydnee, was there ever a moment you wanted to quit? And if so, what kept you going?
I'm going to be really real and raw for a second. That I don't talk about and I haven't talked about is I dealt with a lot of, not a lot, but I've dealt with depression and anxiety and just really kind of feeling down and not being happy with who I was or where I was at. And it wasn't easy. It was, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to eat. I don't eat when I'm stressed. I'm losing weight. I know logically I need to take care of myself, and it was hard. And I know so many people go through that. I wish my answer was something that would relate to everybody, and it might not, but my family, knowing how much they care and love about me and that I have to be there and continue for them and the support that they have for me. My dog, her getting me out of bed every morning to go on walks and get outside and get sunshine, and just reprogramming my mind where, yes, this is hard. Yes, today is a really bad day, but you know what? Congratulations. You drink your tea. You went outside and got sunshine. You complimented someone else sincerely and probably turned their day around. You can have small wins. It doesn't have to be a big win every day. I closed this account and I did this and this was huge, or I hit a new PR. You went to the gym and you walked on the treadmill for 5 minutes. I'm proud of you because that was hard yesterday. And that is something I'm learning to speak about more because there's a stigmatism around these types of things, right? Where you can't show weakness or vulnerability. But that's such a beautiful part of the human existence. And that's how we form connection to help each other get out of these moments.
Sydney, I really appreciate you sharing that with me. And I know that when the listeners hear this, they'll feel the same way and be inspired to want to make a change and find a way to do that. So thank you so much for sharing that. And it goes right into the next question. Sydney, how do you deal with fear or failure or imposter syndrome?
I think I still get imposter syndrome sometimes. Again, my new mantra is why not me? I am going to feel silly, filming something, or I feel self-conscious in the gym trying a new exercise or a new PR, or heading it walking into a new hospital where I had know absolutely nobody and I have to go find someone and pretend to know what I'm doing. Why not put on a new persona sometimes? That helps. Like, okay, you know what? Here's my little pep talk. Today I am this badass that can do this. I can be whoever I want to be. You can be whoever you want to do, and it can change at any time.
Mm.
It's duality. You can be smart and pretty. You can be strong and dangerous. You can be kind and compassionate and empathetic and all of these things. And I think we try to put ourselves into a box where we let others do it. And if you fail one time, oh no, you're a failure. That's a label either we put on ourselves or other people do. I've done it. But again, one no is closer to a yes. It's not rejection, it's redirection. You're just pivoting. And we have to do that in life all the time. There's no blueprint and there's no right or wrong time. We're not on a specific timeline for any of it, I don't think. And I used to rush that. I was like, I'm behind. I'm behind. I'm behind. I should be here, here, and here. According to who?
According to who? Before I go into the next question for you, can you give us the origin of your new mantra, why not me? How did this come to you?
I think I was talking with probably my parents because I'm so close to my family.
Yeah.
And it did have to do kind of with the Netflix show and signing up for that. And I was like, I don't know if they're going to pick me. I don't know if I'm interesting enough. I don't know. And I kept saying, I don't know. And it was a lot of self doubt. And then I just took a beat and I was like, but why not? Why not? If not someone else, why not me? There's no reason why I'm not capable of all of these things. Now, there's some things where singing, I'm not a great singer. However, I can take lessons. I might not ever be Mariah Carey or Beyonce or Taylor Swift, but I can take lessons to improve myself. You can always be doing something to improve if you want on certain things. I'm learning Spanish and Portuguese right now. It's very difficult, but you're not going to get good at something if you don't try it And the big thing for not trying is self-doubt. So why not you? There was not a single good reason of why not me.
That is such a powerful mantra, Sydney. And what's so interesting is that my next question was, what's a belief or mindset shift that completely changed your game? And you obviously now explained that the why not me is the one that's catapulted you into where you are now.
Yeah, it's just, and I would say it is pretty recent, right? I've been working on myself. I love therapy. I think therapy is great. Everybody should go learn about yourself, read the books. I listed off a couple. I have a whole stack in my Amazon wish list if anybody wants to go look at it. The other thing is, you do not always have to work on improving yourself. It's okay to just enjoy life. When you're constantly reading the self-help book or the self-development book, great for insight about yourself, but that also can be a crutch. It's okay to read the fantasy fiction book and relax. It's okay to veg out on your couch if you want to watch TV. It's okay to not always eat the ice cream. It's okay to not always constantly be improving. I think we get so caught up in not being present and we worry about the future. I used to worry about the future,
Yep.
worry about the past. Still do sometimes. Take a breath and just be like, wow, I'm really here. I had a moment. I was in LA, backstage in a green room, about to go on my first talk show. The Netflix stuff was out, the finale's out. I watched myself on these screens. We had viewing parties. It was great. And for whatever reason, it hit me in that green room, sitting back there. I start tearing up and crying because I allowed myself to bask in that moment of, this is something I've always dreamed of, and I'm right here, and it's okay to enjoy it. Do not diminish your joy or your celebration because it might make other people uncomfortable. I really encourage everybody to celebrate yourself because whatever goal you have, again, I don't care if it's that you got out of bed that day. How great. You landed your dream job. You better celebrate yourself. Cheer in the car. Get the bottle of champagne. Go to a nice dinner. You deserve that. It's okay to enjoy it. And I think we get so caught up in the what's the next? What's the next? What's the next that we don't enjoy right now.
Right now. Yeah.
I'm talking a lot, so I know I'm.
No, Sydney, you're not talking a lot. You're giving so many gems, and I'm only taking a breath because what you said just now really impacted me in terms of the way you, like you said, you was in the green room, you went in this talk show, you saw yourself on the screen, and you started to tear up because ultimately what you've done in the show, and obviously you're going to continue to do greater things also, is you saw something that you've always wanted to do and you celebrated yourself in a way, And I'm a therapist, if I haven't mentioned already, so I can only imagine how younger you looked at older you on the screen and was like, I did it. I made it. I've begun this journey that I've always wanted to do. So congrats to you.
I'm gonna tear up right now because that's exactly it. Is little me, little from Alaska, 500 people, the girl who loved fashion and got made fun of and wanted to walk on America's Next Top Model and Project Runway and things that were too girly or too city or too much. So she shrunk and shrunk. And seeing where I'm at now, I just know that she's like, we did it. How cool is this? And celebrating that and celebrating her dream instead of going, okay, well, now what's next? That's not gratitude. That's not being grateful. Like, be in awe and be excited of what you've been able to accomplish and think of that younger you who is over the moon about it. I get so excited and so passionate about this.
No, you should. You should because you're inspiring younger girls and women all over the place that want to do great things, Sydney. So please don't ever stop your journey. Honestly, I want to go into lifestyle and personal, if that's okay.
Let's do it.
Give us, Sydney, what does a typical day in your life look like now?
Not a lot has changed except I get to do these amazing podcasts and interviews.
Yes.
But every morning I do have a German Shepherd. We get up, we are walking 2 to 3 miles, getting our steps in, getting exercise, getting some sunshine. Then it's, you know, trying to get in good food, making sure I'm getting water in, doing my emails, doing my work, checking in with my best friends, checking in with my family, mental health check. I like to cook, so I prefer to cook at home when I can. I do have my special indulgences. We all do. And then seeing what my amazing PR team has lined up for me, it's getting more and more exciting every single day. I do try to, now that the show is out, engage with as many people as I can.
Yeah.
And what you said a little bit earlier about inspiring, one thing that has become a new addition to my daily routine is seeing these messages from women saying, "Thank you for being yourself. Thank you for saying, you are not going to dim yourself anymore. My daughter saw you on TV.
Wow.
She cried when you left. She wants to be just like you. You inspired me for this." And this is from all over the world. Seeing these messages come in and knowing that somehow I'm affecting change in someone else's life so that way they get to shine brighter
Yeah.
and attract more of that, and they get to feel confidence in going towards their dream. It's the best, newest addition to my daily routine I have,
Wow.
and I'm so grateful for it.
You said something so interesting just now. You said when they shine brighter and attract more. Now, when you said that to me, it stood out so much because, as you know, people are so used to just kind of like not hogging the limelight, but kind of just being or celebrating themselves. But when you said that to me just now, Sydney, I could hear the passion of, yes, I'm Sydnee Falkner and I'm in my journey of success. But if someone else or when someone else comes, if their light shines brighter, I'm going to welcome that and I'm going to support them in that too.
Hands down, Calvin, because I can't think of anything better
Yeah.
in what seems like a world that wants us to dim ourselves or be smaller,
Yeah.
for as many people to find their passion and get to express that and be who they are and create this beautiful light. And that continues to give permission for other people to do the same. And that was where that mindset, why not? Right before, it's really easy to be jealous of someone else. It's really easy to be envious and go, I want what they have. You will never have, one thing I learned, you'll never have what someone else has
Yeah.
because we're not the same. And that is such a great thing because how boring would the world be
Yeah.
if everybody was the same? If everybody had the same beliefs, the same ideas, the same style, we would lack so much creativity and connection and learning
Yeah.
from each other. And to see people succeed in some things that I could never do, phenomenal. That's so cool. I'm so excited for you. What else do you love? Tell me what you're passionate about. Tell me how you want to. It doesn't have to be earth shattering things. It can be something simple, but if it's important to you, that's the only thing that matters.
Sydney, what's something people misunderstand about you or your journey?
I think a lot of people think snap judgments, outward appearance, conventionally pretty, is things have been always easy for me
Mhm.
and that I don't have to work hard.
Yeah.
And I've really struggled growing up. I really struggled. I craved connection and friendship so much, and I didn't have it, and I couldn't understand why. And it wasn't because I was pretty back then. I was an ugly duckling child. Looks had nothing to do with it. And then, 3 days after I graduated, my dad shipped me out to the oil fields to go work a manual labor job to pay for college. And I worked in construction. I worked as a maintenance tech. I worked in these good old boys clubs. I'm still in medical sales. I have a really supportive family, but I have worked for everything that I have gotten. And I think that's one of the things people will automatically assume is my life has been really easy just based on outward appearance.
Now, I want to talk into or head into background and personal journey.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess growing up in northern Alaska, you face extreme conditions in terms of the weather as a maintenance technician. How did those early experiences shape your resilience and approach to challenges?
Ooh. So it was definitely a different world. Climate aside, I think it hits. So growing up, we would close school at -50 Fahrenheit ambient,
Wow.
cold weather. When I was in the oil field, it hit -80 Fahrenheit with wind chill, so about -65 ambient. And I definitely had to learn because it was very much and it is a male dominated field.
Yeah.
And I had to prove my own. I had to work hard, sometimes even harder, to prove that I also belonged to be there, that I could hold my own, that I wasn't going to just be taking up space that wasn't useful. And again, because I had such a good, solid upbringing with my family, they taught me so much about work ethic and hard work and doing the right thing, even when it's not always easy, because sometimes it's not. That really helped shape who I am and how I'm able to look at adversity. And sometimes you go, this sucks. I'm not enjoying this in the oil field. I'm cold. I've been working for 16 hours. It's my 35th day in a row doing this with no weekends, no days off. I'm exhausted. And you get it out. And I call my dad and he gives me a pep talk and kind of says, if you're tired, work. If you're hungry, work. If you're happy, work. And then you go do it all over again. And it's just kind of, your mind is so powerful. I don't think we realize it. It's incredible. And sometimes, like I said, get all the out,
Yeah.
get it out and reset.
Reset. Second part of that question, Sydney. Transitioning from such a rugged environment to a career in medical sales, which is quite a shift. What motivated this change and how did you navigate it?
So I started at ASU for mechanical engineering. My plan was to continue to work in the oil field for 3 weeks
Mhm.
and then go travel the world for 3 weeks because you'd have what they call hitches. So you work for 3 weeks straight, no days off, no weekends,
Yeah.
and then you'd have 3 weeks off. Kind of what my dad did. He did a 2 and 2 while I was growing up.
Yeah.
And as I got further into my education, it sounded like I was going to be put 9 to 5, Monday through Friday in an office. And that is not what I wanted. I have been an athlete my entire life, basketball, volleyball, track, anything to keep me busy and active in Alaska when it's cold outside. And so I was in physical therapy a lot. I had shoulder issues and whatnot. And our body is the most amazing machine.
Yeah.
We are phenomenal pieces of engineering. Our systems alone that we don't even have to think about, and then much less get into the psychological part of all of it, incredible. So the switch from mechanical engineering to kinesiology was actually pretty seamless. And I kind of fast tracked my way. I took summer courses. I went and studied abroad in Australia. I had some great opportunities because of it. And I just fell in love with it because I truly believe if you take care of your body and your mind, you you are less likely to have limitations.
So true.
And it's very difficult here in the States, especially when everything is about instant gratification
Mm.
and fast tracking things.
Yeah.
But building daily habits that help mind, body, spirit, that is how you find longevity.
Sydney, I just wanted to touch on something you said earlier, if you don't mind, because you spoke about therapy. Not to even go into too much depth, but your experience with therapy and how has that helped you just alongside your great journey that you're on now?
Ah, this is a great question. So I have been in and out of therapy for years, if I'm being honest. I should probably have like a PowerPoint for my next therapist and be like, okay, here we go. Let's make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
A lot of my therapy was centered around mostly romantic relationships, but that was because I didn't have a relationship with myself.
Yeah.
Low self esteem, high self doubt,
Mhm.
insecurities. And as I started to work through, I've done a couple different types of therapy. I've done, cognitive behavioral therapy, the talk therapy, which is great and it does have its place. And then I got into somatic therapy as well, so getting more into the body. more working things out. And I think is it EDMR therapy as well?
Yes.
I think it's fantastic because I don't believe there's a one size fits all.
No.
As we continue to grow and evolve, CBT was fantastic with me for a while until a lot of my therapists were like, "You are very self aware. That is not your problem." And I said, "I know it's not. So what do I do now? Because I'm aware of this. And when it's happening, I'm aware, but I still feel this. So, okay, we've got to get into your body then. You're disconnected from your body. Let's figure out how to do that. We move into somatic and EDMR therapy. We reprogram some things. We have conversations with your younger self. We heal some of these past traumas that you can be aware of, but still sit underneath the layers, right? So I am such a fan. And I think therapy is becoming more and more common, so we're losing the stigmatism around it. My parents' generation, you didn't go to therapy, you just worked harder and you kept your mouth shut. We're changing generations now. I do think some people can use it as a crutch too much, and they don't necessarily want to take accountability. So there's a pendulum with it, right? And you have to find middle ground. And just because you're in therapy doesn't mean you have to be in therapy for life. I've had therapists that go, "I've done what I can with you. Congratulations. Move on, continue life. If you need me, call me, or I have recommendations for other types of therapy." It doesn't have to become your identity, and it's not a bad thing.
I love.
I can talk about this stuff all day.
No, listen, you said so much in there, and I just want to thank you for firstly highlighting the different approaches, secondly, mentioning that not one size fits all, and thirdly, talking about your transitioning from one style, you being self aware about it, that therapist saying to you, hey, like, there's not much I can do for you now in this space. You saying to them that I can feel it within more of my body now, and them saying, okay, cool. So that's the next step. So I just want to thank you for highlighting to the listeners that in therapy, it is a journey. And throughout that journey, there may be different approaches that you may need to go towards to receive the healing, receive the answers and the clarity that you seeked in the first place for your journey. So that's incredible.
And I will say,
Please.
you don't have to pick the first therapist. Sometimes it doesn't feel right, and sometimes you might have to go through a couple before you find one that you click with. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. We we interact and we respond well to certain energies within certain people. I've had a therapist, I went to one session and I didn't like how that went. Something just a job. Not saying they're a bad therapist,
Of course.
they weren't the one for me.
Yeah.
So that just means I had to continue to look for therapists that really match with me. Do not, if you're a listener, do not get discouraged if you're looking into therapy and you're like, the first one wasn't perfect. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Thank you for highlighting that too, Sydney. You know what? That's just so amazing that you said that, because I feel like people are usually pressured when it comes to picking a therapist, and they may just go with the first one because it's convenient, or they don't want to go and look for another one. But you just said if it doesn't match and it doesn't sit well with you, it's okay to find another therapist or find someone that matches.
Yep. Because it's not going to help you otherwise. You're not going to feel. I had therapists where I started to lie to try to win therapy to seem like I was improving because I didn't feel confident or safe enough in expressing, you know what? I know we've talked about this 40 times. I'm still struggling with it.
Yeah.
And that was me sticking somewhere where, I wasn't confident in them or that they wouldn't judge me or something like that, which we're all human.
Yeah.
And so it's okay to say, this isn't the right fit for me, but thank you for your time. I'm going to keep looking. Keep looking. I guarantee there's someone who fits.
Yeah. I want to move on to the show now. So the show emphasizes deception and social deduction. How did you prepare for this aspect? And were there moments when maintaining your strategy became particularly challenging?
Okay, so I'm a terrible liar. We can all agree. If you watch the show, we can all agree with that. My dad will. him and my mom have this running thing. He'll call me, and the first word out of my mouth, he goes thumbs up or thumbs down on the type of day that I'm having. First word out of my mouth. So my emotions are generally always written all over my face. I knew I would be okay if I looked at more of the omission side than outright lying and making up things,
Of course.
because that can be really difficult. So, for instance, I said I was in bottle service. I have done bottle service formally.
Mhm.
I could speak on that.
Yeah.
I am in medical sales now. So, not quite a lie, more one of omission. I wasn't saying I'm an astronaut or I'm a pilot or I'm an accountant or something that I could never maintain.
Mhm.
I will say it is difficult. You'll do a lot for $1,000,000, but you still are human and you're forming connections with these people. And it can really get to you psychologically because you don't know if they're actually being genuine
Yeah.
or if they're still playing a character for the game, and you can't help but form bonds anyway. So
Yeah.
it's a really interesting social experiment.
Sydney, if you could sum up your experience on the show in one word, what would it be and why?
Indescribable. It was so intense, and there was so many highs and lows and a variety of emotions at any given time. And there was so many great moments as well. It would be really difficult that unless you were there experiencing it, for me to be able to fully describe the experience that I had and the experience that others had. We're kind of trauma bonded now. So, therapists, make what you will of that.
Sydney, before you go, I would love to throw some fun rapid questions just so the listeners can get to know you better. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sydney, if you could work anywhere remotely in the world, where would it be and why?
I would work in Italy because I have family from there and I want to do the Mediterranean coast and just go explore that. I think that would be phenomenal. I want to be on a villa in Italy, somewhere on the ocean.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
Mind reading. I feel like that's an easy one. I would have been able to win that show, no problem whatsoever. And I think it would help a lot in everyday day-to-day life. So I would love to be a mind reader.
You mentioned your favorite mantra earlier. Do you have a favorite quote outside of that?
I guess that's not really rapid fire because I don't have an immediate answer for that. I don't know if I do. Actually, I'd have to think about that one.
Okay.
I feel like I do, and it escaped my brain as soon as you said it.
Yeah. Sydney, do you have a favorite book or film?
I love Miss Congeniality. That's my guilty pleasure movie,
Yeah.
actually. And I really love The Alchemist. My second one would probably be The Queen's Code. I think every woman should read it. It's phenomenal. It made me really angry, but it was really good. And then for guys, I think The Way of the Superior Man is also a phenomenal book.
It is a great book. Great book. Sydney, do you have a favorite season? If yes, what would it be and why?
I am a big that's tough because I love winter sports. I'm learning to snowboard, learning new things, learning to snowboard with my brother. I'm also a big lake girl. So in the summer, it's fantastic. I would say probably Alaska in August, September is around my favorite time because it's still warm. It's not 120 degrees Fahrenheit like in Phoenix.
Yeah.
You can do all the outdoor things, be out on the lake, be out on the river, enjoy time. It's going to be light enough to do everything still, but it's going to be a little bit cooler so you're not dying of heat. So I guess that's end of summer, beginning of fall.
And my last question for you, Sydney. Please finish the sentence for me. If it wasn't for therapy, I would be.
Broken. And I don't mean that in a negative way or that I needed to be fixed. I was just so unaware of who I was and the kind of power that I have within myself. I would have that perception
Yeah.
of being broken, of not being enough. And so it's not that anybody who's not seeking therapy or anybody who's in therapy is broken by any means. That was just the first word that came to my mind because I felt so long that that's what I was, that something was wrong with me. And through therapy and through self help and through self love, I realized that was a label I put on myself. And you are not broken. You're more than the stigma that's put on you. You're more than your feelings. emotions come and go. They're fleeting. You do not have to identify with any of them. And so that's kind of my explanation. I know that probably sounded bad right off the bat, but
That was great. That was so great. Sydney, someone's heard you today. Someone's inspired. They just want to be able to, I guess, reach out and just, ask how you've managed to just continue to maintain and grow within your craft and your journey. What would be the best way for someone to, I guess, reach out to you and contact you?
reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram is Sydney with two E's dot Falkner, no you. And I do try to get to all of my messages. It might take me a little bit, but I want anyone who's listening, whether you've watched the show or not, I said, I am so tired of dimming myself to make other people comfortable. I don't want you to feel that way either. So if you feel that way, if you're struggling, if you're feeling like you don't matter, you do, and reach out to me at any time. I'm being so sincere when I say that. I never want anyone to feel like they don't have a purpose here because I guarantee you do. And it's going to be so incredible when you lean into that.
Sydney, I just want to firstly say thank you so much for your time today. I know you're very busy. Thank you to your team. Thank you to everyone who's just been so helpful in this process. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been your host, Calvin Anderson, for the Check In With podcast. We have had the impeccable Sydnee Falkner today. Have a lovely evening wherever you are in the world. Take care. Speak soon. God bless.